everybody, welcome back to my channel. So for you guys today, we are going to be doing this makeup look. The whole theme of this is job interview makeup. What type of makeup would I wear, or would I recommend that you wear to a job interview? And this is kind of the look that I came up with. Nothing real crazy, nothing super bold, just like a good staple makeup look. And yeah, if you guys want to see this video, please do not forget to subscribe and give it a thumbs up. I would very much greatly appreciate it. And with that being said, let's get started. Also, let me know, just let me know if you like this type of video or not. Okay, bye. All right, so if you saw the title, you know what we're doing today. And maybe you're asking yourself, why? Shanna, didn't you just get a job? My answer to you would be yes. But for me to be able to get my driver's license, I have to, because I can't afford it. And like the people who train people for this are like ridiculously expensive. You're talking like hundreds of dollars an hour per person. So the state really has to pay for it. And for me to be able to get the state to pay for my driver's license, I need to be showing that I'm using my degree. I either need like a vocational need or an educational need. I already have an education. Like I have my bachelor's degree in psychology and they want me to use it, which is fine. Like I was planning on it. I was just having a hard time finding a job. And so now I have a job interview that will let me use that degree. But anyway, product that I'm going in with right now is the Tula Skincare Face Filter Blurring and Moisturizing Primer. Now this, I love this. This is it is pore filling, but it's also like liquidy, like a moisturizer. So this is like one of those skincare and makeup products that I love it. I love it so much. So I'm just gonna put that on my porous areas and stuff, which isn't really on my forehead, but I get a little bit dry there. And it does leave like a slight tacky finish, but like once this dries down, it's so nice. And then for foundation, I'm going to be using my Urban Decay Tinted Hydromaniac in the shade 20. I love this. It's got a very skin-like finish, and since I'm going to a job interview, I want to use things that are more skin-like. And if you're following this thinking, okay, how can I do job interview makeup? I would definitely lean towards things that are going to be more skin-like. You don't want to look, I mean, I guess you could depending on the job interview. Like when I applied for my job at Ulta, I put on a lot more makeup than what I normally would, or than what I wouldn't do for a normal interview, just because it's a makeup store. Like I wanted to show the fact that I knew how to do makeup, at least on myself, and I knew enough about what I was talking about to be able to help people find their makeup choices and stuff. For the job interview that I'm going to, it's an activity aid. So I want to do less is more approach, and this is definitely like less is more. So don't necessarily like apply it the way I'm going to, because I'm not putting this on a sponge or anything. I'm just gonna squiggle it like right on my face, but I'm gonna put the most by my nose where my color is uneven, and then kind of just squiggle out a little bit. So like we're not going to be doing baking or anything like that. We're definitely going for less is more. I'm going to blend this out with a sponge versus a brush, just because a sponge is going to take away a little bit of any heaviness that we might have gotten otherwise. So that's what I'm doing now. But do you see how I'm talking like it's coverage without, I mean, like look at this area versus like this area. Definitely want to do less is more approach. And the reason I started at the center of my face is because as I get further out, the discoloration I have gets less. So I really want to cover up the discoloration first. For me, I am going to go back and do just a little bit more, just to do a little bit more coverage, mainly because I have like a friend that has taken up unwanted temporary residence on the end of my nose. And, you know, his cousins have moved in on my cheeks and like a little bit on my forehead as well. You know, nothing awful, but they're being rowdy. Shall we go with rowdy? And then we are going to go in with concealer, but we'll be using a lot less concealer than even what I normally use. And I don't... Do you see what I mean by, like, it's veiled? There's not a huge demarcation line on my neck. You can still definitely see, like, my spots, but they're not as in your face as what they were and normally are. So for concealer, I'm going to be using the CoverGirl True Blend Undercover Concealer. This one I'm thinking is going to be pretty close to my skin tone, just because I don't want like a super duper bright under eye. And I'm literally, this is it. Just that dot. That's it. And then I might do a little bit on my spots, just to kind of cover them up a little bit more. Maybe I should use my finger. Yeah, I would definitely use your finger. It's going to give you a little bit more coverage over any spots that you may have. Yeah, that looks good. So, there is the foundation and concealer and primer. Next one I'm going to go in with is a cream, that's a powder, a cream bronzer. This one is my Anastasia Beverly Hills one in the shade Amber. And I went with this one just because, again, we're going for like more natural and doing like a full-on powder contour and a powder bronzer. I am going to use a powder bronzer later, but the one I'm going with is like very sheer, very light kind of coverage. So I'm just going to take the butt end of my sponge, kind of tap it in to this product just a little bit, just enough to kind of coat the bottom. Oopsies. And then kind of just stamp it on where I want to be a little bit more bronzed. And this is giving me like almost no color, which is fine. You can always add more. You cannot take it away as easily. So got the product on the sponge and just bronze like that. And do you see how it's like enhancing my cheekbone area there? That's good. That's what I wanted. It's there, but it's not crazy. Okay, so now that we have our cream bronzer on, I am going to set just under my eyes and a little bit around my nose, because those are the areas where I tend to get a little bit oily. So or creasy and then oily. Let me pat out underneath my eyes. Like that. And then the powder I'm using is the Laura Mercier one. I like this one because it's a very finely milled powder and you don't need a lot. See, like what's in this cap, what's in this cap is too much, but it's workable. So I am going to take a, let me see. I'm going to take my Alamar Cosmetics brush. This is the brightening brush from them. And I'm going to dip it just a little bit in like the side of the powder. So I'm getting some product on my brush, but it's not a lot overall. And then just sweeping that underneath my eye and a little bit on my cheek, just where I have a lot of pores, because this is like a very nice blurring powder. And then I'm going to take it on my nose like I said I would. Under the eye, a little bit on my cheek, and again on my nose, and a little bit on my forehead. I don't want to set my whole face just because that's when I personally start to look cakey, and I don't want to look cakey for a job interview. I want to look put together, refreshed, very that moment, not cake face Shanna that I do for Instagram. You know, I want to look good in person. So the bronzer I'm going to be using is my Too Faced one. This one is discontinued, but if you have the Physicians Formula one, it's a very similar finish. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take, this is, what is this? This is a powder brush, I believe. Yeah, this is just a tapered powder brush. I'm just gonna go in with this into my Too Faced, get the product on there, and then just kind of sweep over where that bronzer was at already. Again, it doesn't look crazy. It's a little bit more intense, but it's not crazy. Like, alright, so there is the bronzer. It's still mostly subtle. I mean, it is a little bit more intense, but it's not bad. It's not crazy intense, in my opinion. For blush, I'm just gonna take my Beauty Bay Peachy blush, just because this is like a more natural tone. Got some on my brush, tap off the excess, and then just dust it on. And then kind of blend that into my bronzer. Just like that. Alright, so there's the blush. And then for highlight, I'm gonna do not a ton of highlight. I'm just gonna do, let me see. I think I'm gonna do this one. I'm just gonna do a little bitty baby bit though. So I'm gonna go into this shade from my Milani. Oh, this is a cream and powder. Ah, all right, well, this is a cream highlight then. That's why I want. All right, so this one is it's just a Supercharged Highlighter Duo. And this is not a mirror, damn it. I've got some on my brush. I'm just going to take the tiniest bit right on the cheekbone. The tiniest bit. Alright, there's the highlight. You can kind of see it there. You can see it there. And mostly you'll see it on like the tip of my nose, but that's fine. So there's the highlight. Now for the eyes, I am going to prime using my sample size of the ABH primer. Like that. And then I'm going to take a, let's do... I'm gonna take this brush from AOA Studios and just kind of use that to pat everything in together, meld it all together. Oops. And then I'm also gonna take a little bit underneath my eye. Like that. Okay. Alright, so I have on the eye primer now, and for the palette, I'm going to be using this one from KKW Beauty. This is an all matte palette, but these have got like nice, soft, honey tones, which is what I want. If you want a very similar look, you can use the Urban Decay Naked Honey. The ColourPop Little Ray of Sunshine one is like a more cool tone version. So just use whatever you have. I'm going to take a small blending brush like this, and I'm going to go into this shade here. I'm just putting that color in my crease and kind of bringing it up a little bit. We're definitely, like, I love smoky eyes, so I'm definitely gonna go for that, but it's gonna be like a more soft, subtle smoky eye. Like that, and then I'm going to take a larger, just a larger fluffy brush, and I'm gonna go into this shade right here, and I'm gonna dust that all over my lid because we're not gonna do any sparkly shades today. I'm just doing an all matte look. Okay. And then for the last shade, I'm going to take a more packed brush like this one, and I'm gonna go in to this shade right here. Like, I'm purposely avoiding going for much deeper, but I'm gonna go for this shade right here. And I'm just gonna put this on my outer corner. Kind of blend it in, just so that the eye has a little bit of depth. Do you see the difference? This one has more depth, this one does not. Okay. And then I'm gonna take that same brush, go into that same shade, and this is kind of where it turns into a smoky eye, and just run that color along the lower lash line. And that just kind of smokes it out without it being crazy deep. Like that, and it's nice and it's subtle. And let me turn my brightness down so you guys can actually see what it looks like. Do you see? Like, we don't look crazy, we don't look insane. I'm slowly pushing you away, but that's what it looks like. Okay, so there's that. Now for brows, I am gonna do my brows and my mascara off camera, but I'm using the Lash Princess. This is the volume one from Essence, and my L'Oreal brow pencil, but I'll be right back. Okay, so I did my brows. I kept them like very natural. I didn't fill them in too much. I also did mascara, but I did not put any on the bottom lashes, just so that it's not looking crazy. Like that. Sorry, I'm looking like right at my phone, but my camera's right there, and I looked right there. So last thing I'm gonna do the eyes before we move on to the lips and then setting spray is I'm just gonna take a pointy, or not really, that's not really a pointy brush. Maybe like this type of a brush. And I'm going to go back into the shade that we used as our highlight. Kind of load it up on the brush. And then I am going to pop that in my inner corner. Just so that it's like a nice bright inner corner. Like that. Okay, so there's that. We're almost done. All we got is the lips left. Now for the lips, what I'm doing is I'm going to go in with my Vive lip liner in the shade Brat. Now this is kind of where it's going to be a bit bolder. So if you have a really, really nude lip that you like, you could probably go with that. I'm going to go in with the Bark, or this is Brat, my bad. Brat lip liner and line my lips. But there's the lips. It's like a darker, it's not really dark. It's not super light, but it's not very dark. It's like a mid-toned brown. And then I'm going to go in with the Buxom Power, I think this is, what is this? The Buxom Power Matte Lip or something. The Buxom, it's the 90s nude collection. I got it during 21 Days of Beauty. It's in the shade Supermodel, and this is a light nude as well. Well, it's like a mid-toned on me, but there's that, and that's my lips. And then setting spray is gonna be my Milani Make It Last. And yeah, you guys, that is it for today's video. This is what the makeup looks like. Let me turn down the brightness again. So this is what, oh shit. This is what it looks like in my house lighting, basically. If I shut it off completely, it's a little bit shadowed, but it's turned all the way down. Nothing too crazy. Like I said, we kept the eyes pretty matte. Not much mascara on the bottom. The only really pop we did is in the inner corner and on the lips. So I didn't want to do bold eyes, bold lip, or even really like a super bold lip. This is kind of like just a nice neutral type of makeup. Obviously, like, you're gonna have to make this makeup work for your face shape, your undertone. I have like a neutral leaning warm undertone. If it helps with anybody, I'm NC10 in MAC. But yeah, so this is what the makeup looks like. If you guys enjoyed this video, please do not forget to subscribe and give it a thumbs up. I'd very much greatly appreciate it. And wish me luck, because I do have a job interview today. I mentioned that already, but yeah, just wish me luck. Okay, see you guys later. Bye.